What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It's 2018, and it is the first BTS podcast of the new year, and it's going to be Movie Buffed. I'm Dakota, creative producer from Beyond the Summit, and I'm going to be joined by this man right over here. It's none
my name?
Dan, Jerry, and I keep like, drug dealer. No, I can only make that joke so many times.
Yeah,
so.
I know. It's all joke. But hail
Old
Satan.
joke,
Happy 2018. Year of the dog.
You're the
pound?
dog.
You're the dog, dude. Yeah.
According to
We Rate Dogs on Twitter, who's the only person who I follow for astrology.
that, like the Chinese calendar, the dog.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think
I'm a
so.
rat, I think. What are you?
Me? I'm
What's your
I'm like a lion, I think.
You're
or
a lion?
tiger. A tiger.
There's no way you're a lion.
Yeah, dude. What? Are you kidding? Look at me. I'm a beast, bro. I'm like a fire tiger too. 86. Suck a dick.
I'm a rat, which is great because
Yeah,
I'll be
makes
talking
sense.
about rats later.
Makes sense that you're a rat. I get that now.
We also have Kevin, who's going to be our producer today. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Kevin, what are you? What year are you?
I'm a goat.
He's a goat. So Kevin's the goat?
Wait, am I right, Kevin? Will you look up if 86 December is
Sure,
a
1 sec.
tiger? I'm pretty confident I'm a fire
That's
tiger.
not fair. That is so... I remember like when you get the dinner plate and it has all of the, years and animals.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, rat. And then you see like dragon, tiger, all
dude.
these badass ones. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Kelly's. Kelly's is funny because it's like the opposite of mine. I think hers is actually goat too. I think she's a wood
Tiger,
goat.
by the way.
He is
Huh?
tiger.
I'm a tiger, bitch.
Oh my God.
Do you know your element?
My element?
Because all of them.
I know I'm a Scorpio and
No.
a rat. That's
No.
all I got.
Do you know the house you were born in?
Am
Yo,
I
where's your
helium?
astrology at, bro? Okay, so there is in the Chinese zodiac there is a element associated with you as well.
Really?
And so
Am I gold? What would it
no,
be?
well there's like it's like metal, earth, water, fire, and so Roland is obsessed with that.
Okay.
So Roland is a guy who used to work here and lives in Southeast Asia now, but he's obsessed with understanding what your element is because he really believes that it has an influence on like his day to day. So like if you're a wood person, you're with
You're big
fire
on wood,
people,
yeah.
you feed the fire people, right? And you help make
Oh.
them better. And
Wow.
there's like balance that happens, right? So some people feed off other people and some people help other people.
Oh, you're a mooch or you're a provider.
Right.
Okay,
So Kelly is
cool.
like the perfect feed. My girlfriend is like
She
the
feeds
perfect
you
feed
wood.
for me. Yeah. So I'm just a succubus on her.
That's great. That's cool. I guess I'll have to.
Yeah. And then there's your
out.
house, dude. You gotta know your house, which
Your
is
house?
like the
what
planet.
what are the options?
I don't fucking know that
Like,
one. It's just
hut,
that's regular zodiac.
Teepee and mansion.
And it has to do like where the planets were when you were born.
Really, bro. Astrology buff, bro.
Okay, let's stop that.
That
How
was
was your
awesome.
holiday?
Holiday was great. Like most, I'm sure, got to go back home to the family in Northern California. So I got to go right back down my 6-hour drive down the
Yep.
5.
Yeah.
And it was a good time.
Dude,
Me,
I-
the lady and the dog.
I feel very grateful that we get the break we do. It's like the most amazing thing ever, and I feel like I took so full advantage of it. But going back to Chicago is just like, it's such a nice experience to be able to take all that in and bring that here.
It's pretty necessary, I think. It's good to get kind of that brain break.
Yeah.
After doing so much of a creative dump, it felt like, into Dota Summit. It's
Yeah,
good to be
December
able to
was
step
crazy.
away. And I just got to veg out pretty hard. Be home. It felt like I was transposed back to like my high school days of just gaming in the room and going out and getting home cooked food.
Yeah.
It's really good. Maybe every time I go home, I get to appreciate my family a little bit more. So it was a good time.
I like ate out more than normal this time and just like ordered takeout almost every night. It was so bad. I was just being like a really lazy piece of shit.
What's your takeout of choice when you're back home in Chicago?
First thing I usually get is pizza. And I usually get pizza.
deep dish.
No.
The carbs.
Yo, dude, it's not pizza, it's lasagna, it's a casserole.
Straight
It's
up.
good. No, I mean I get regular pizza. I usually switch it up. This time there's a place called Peace, which is
Peace.
Peace Pizza. Yeah, like yo, bro. It's
Peace,
really good
bro.
though.
All right, cool.
And then what else did we order? Ordered some sushi. Went out to sushi. Went out to other places. There's this place called Fatso's. If I'm really feeling like a piece of shit, if the name doesn't say enough, okay,
Fatsos.
it's called Fatso's. It's like a greasy spoon burger joint on the
Nice.
corner of Grand and or Chicago. I don't remember. Greater Chicago. It's like pretty close to my house. So I could literally just walk there or drive there or whatever, but we order delivery and get like triple cheeseburgers with cheddar and all this fucked up shit and like big French fries. And
I think that's good. I think the menu should feel appropriate to the name. Because
Yeah.
we have like a Chubby's, I think, out like where we are, and you go in there and it's just like a normal ass diner. It's like if I go in there, I want to come out feeling chubby as
Yeah.
fuck, you know? So
Yeah.
It's good to hear that you have like the bypass burgers going on over there.
that was great, dude.
But the most important thing during our nice little holiday break is we got to also take the time to just ingest some content, ingest other creative things, just binge out.
I binged hard.
Binge
I
on
binged hard.
movies, Netflix, things to just kind of, help fall asleep when you're away from home.
Yeah, YouTube also. I watch a lot of YouTube nowadays, and I feel like we should have a special at some point about the good shit that's on YouTube, because there is good shit. There's quality content. There's so much bad content that it's easy to be like, oh, that's just like a cesspool of vloggers and
Paul
people that
stuff
are,
and all that garbage.
yeah, there's garbage. But there are people that are really, really trying to make really cool shit. And Kevin's a big fan of YouTubers as well. We watched a lot of it together.
You guys stay up way late with the Mad Weeds and probably go down a crazy dark hole of YouTube like everyone does.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You can find some random people that just like have like no subscribers but are put on such high quality content. And you're like, how do you do this? Where
if
do you
we
find
do
time
a
for this?
YouTube special episode, I think that on the latter half of the episode, we should also explore our favorite dark holes.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's talking about feet a lot. Tiny feet and tiny shoes.
I've got a great dark hole.
Half-hour review of red shoes and tiny feet. It's kinda
Instagram can be good for dark holes too, because that's really where just an individual is just like blurting shit out sometimes.
Can you believe, though, that between something like Instagram and Twitter, it's actually Twitter that has no censorship whatsoever? You can straight up post porn on Twitter, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Instagram
No, I like
is at
Twitter.
least like, male nipples are fine. Everything else is no-go.
Instagram's the worst. It used to be by far my favorite platform. And when they started changing the way the algorithm worked and showing you basically after Facebook bought it, they started showing you random shit like from all over the place. So like you're like liking shit from like a week ago and not seeing what they posted most recently. I like a linear timeline. Show me the most recent stuff.
In case you missed it, this was posted yesterday. You already saw it, actually, but here it is again.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case, that dude liked this chick's tweet.
No, it's so bad, and it's a great marketing tool. I think that's what's really interesting about it. But I've had a lot of arguments about why Snapchat is. Everybody hates Snapchat. What the fuck were we talking about, by the way? But everybody hates Snapchat.
We're going on like a total
Snapchat
social platform rant suddenly.
is for your friends, and Instagram is for your brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I think. Okay, but lots of content ingested. Did you go to the movies at all?
No.
I didn't either. Fuck.
I already, unfortunately, didn't go to the movies too much, but since launching this podcast, it's helped get me back into the theater, a reason to go into the theater and be excited about new, fresh films again, and I'm, it's been great. So now, for me, at least, on my binge, I had a binging theme. I don't know if you did, but I was on a very doc-heavy binging. I watched 3 to 4 different great documentaries that were a pleasure to watch that I'll go into later today. And then the one movie that I wanted to make sure we both got to see was Bright.
Right.
So we're going to talk about that first.
Yeah.
But did you have a binging theme at all were you like, I like
Sorta.
sticking to this theme and just kind of going down that road a bit?
I think I would say I was interested in watching all of these Netflix series, like Netflix produced series that had come out this year that I hadn't really been able to catch. And I had heard a lot about. So for me, it was focused on Netflix heavily and on series, less so on movies or shorts, although I did mix those in. It was much more about things like Ozarks and Dark and all this shit. Although I still haven't watched season 2 of Stranger Things. Which
I haven't
makes-
watched one yet. Amanda started the first episode, and I'm like, don't, not without me. So she stopped, and we never went back yet.
Is it such a
So-
sin? It's the biggest sin in a relationship.
Because
to
it's
do
like
that.
I know I'm gonna love it because I love that kind of stuff like ET, sci-fi, synth. Like it's just got everything.
It's you, yeah.
Neon. Like I know it's gonna be up my alley. I don't for whatever reason I haven't. I know I would get in it and I'd have to watch the whole thing. And
Yeah.
there's only so many minutes in a day.
Yeah,
Such and
I'm
such.
the same, dude. I watched season 1. I love season 1. Me and Kelly decided that we were allowed to watch season 2 separately. This is a big deal.
Oh.
Okay, big deal. Big part of the relationship there. It's a compromise, guys. And she watched it right away. It came out. She binged the whole thing. And I don't know. I just didn't feel compelled to watch it. And
So you have yet okay.
yeah,
She
she's
had
watched
found a
it.
hard time not talking about it in front of you. Is she getting on you to
no,
watch it?
she knows. Kelly knows that I don't want to talk about shows at all. Like if she sees a trailer or she knows anything, she won't tell me anything because I don't want to know.
You don't even like trailers. Like if it's a movie you definitely want to see.
Her sister is the kind of person where you're watching something and like 5 minutes in, she'll be like, blah, blah, blah happens at the end because she Googles it while you're watching and then tells everybody.
Oh, no.
She's like the worst person to watch anything with. A television show, a movie, it doesn't matter. She will spoil it within the first 10 minutes. And if she doesn't know it, she looks it up. Like,
gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
All right. Let's just go ahead and get into it. We can talk about our first film here. It was the one that we both got to watch. I heard a lot of hype around it. Bright, a movie with Will Smith.
Will Smith!
Straight to Netflix. This was not in theaters, right?
No.
We're rolling the trailer here right behind us for people tuning into our stream, of course, at twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit. Like the people who like to come by and watch us live. But I only heard little things about this. Dan, I cut the cord probably now like 8 years ago. So I miss a lot of commercials, which means I miss a lot of trailers for movies, unless they're like potential huge hits, your Star Wars, your Avengers, that are going to be at the top of Reddit, and I might happen to glance at. I might not even see a lot of movies that just come and go into these theaters now. And Bright, I heard a lot about, but noticed it wasn't in theaters. Do you know anything about how that kind of worked out a bit? Is it like Netflix? I know Netflix is now this gigantic platform that has now all this money and they can create their own content, but, is this the first time we're seeing something like this? It feels very unique.
Yeah, this is brand new. This is like Netflix's biggest spend of the year.
Okay.
It's Will Smith, okay, one of the treasures of, Hollywood. No matter what you want to say about his last, 5 years of work, the guy's a god and is amazing to watch. And Netflix is making a huge blockbuster film with David Ayers directing, okay? Guy did Suicide Squad, which a lot of people don't like, but he is a director that is very big right now.
Which Will Smith was in as well. So was there I imagine there was some sort of connection there.
And the producer who's friends with Will Smith. Basically everything that God, and I feel terrible I forget the producer's name, but everything that Will Smith has done since what was that superhero movie he did? Hancock, thank you. Yeah. Since Hancock has been this one producer who's kind of they've just done everything together, and a lot of people would argue it's all terrible. So the thing about this movie that I like is that you said you heard a lot of hype. I heard a lot of hate. I heard an incredible amount of hate about this movie.
I think it was I definitely heard both. I think it was just hype. It's there's a Will Smith movie. It's going straight to Netflix. It's going to be right in your pocket if you happen to be a Netflix fan. Get hype about that. So it was kind of like that. Then it came out, and I also had heard mixed feelings about the movie.
Yeah, so I started hearing about it last year. Max Landis is the writer. If you don't know who Max Landis is, he's the son of, which Landis? Another Landis.
Okay.
Who is super
Senior Landis.
80s comedies, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, all those kind of movies. He's all over the place
Martin,
on those.
John Candy special kind of stuff.
John Candy guy.
John Candy specials, okay.
He's his son. And he has a YouTube channel Up to My Knees, I think it's called, and he's got a great video called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, which is one of my favorite videos on the internet.
Wrestling isn't wrestling?
Wrestling isn't wrestling. It's like a 35-minute rant on why wrestling isn't about wrestling, and it's all acted out like Drunk History style.
Oh, that's funny.
It's really, really good. So I follow him on a lot of things because he always is very open about his projects and what he's doing. So he starts talking about this spec script that he's working on. That is he literally called it, "This could be my Star Wars. I don't know what to do."
Oh.
And he gets a bunch of people bidding on it. It ends up selling for $3 million, which is one of the largest spec script sales in the past decade.
Really?
So it's a pretty big deal.
And that's the script for this?
Yes, and actually he was offered more than that.
How long ago was this? Do you know?
This is a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
2 years ago.
This is all kind of fast, almost. Okay.
Yeah. I think it was I want to say it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. Okay, so he ends up selling to Netflix because he wants more creative control, and he is a super stickler and wants to work with David Ayers. He's a David Ayers fanboy, and he's this is the only guy that can do this. So he takes less money. He was offered $4.5 million, and takes the $3 million, goes to Netflix. There was a lot of drama, dude. I don't want to get into it yet. It's very interesting, but There was a lot of drama with this movie and where it came out. So I think.
Do you want to save that fun little
I
factoid
don't
towards
know.
the end of it?
I guess I just want to talk about like. Fury, End of Watch, Suicide Watch. That's all David Ayers.
So what
the guy
I'm
is
seeing,
good.
so let's say we move forward, and now I'm starting to glance at trailers of this movie. I hear the hype, I hear the talk. I want to glance at trailers, and the first thing I see, Dan, and I'm just kind of giggle to myself right away, is Will Smith's playing a police officer and agent.
Yeah.
No, go fucking figure, right?
Yeah.
The dude has been playing agents and police officers and everything. Anything from Men in Black to Bad Boys to freaking Wild Wild West. I think he was some sort of authority figure in it. Enemy of the State. Like, he plays it well. I think he's great. The dude has the Keanu Reeves factor where he's drinking the holy water and he doesn't really age that well.
Yeah.
I mean, I
He's
get that
a
blacked out
gorgeous
crack,
man.
but I mean, the dude is going to be ready to be a frontline action man for who knows how long, until he just feels like he doesn't want to do it anymore. I think he could be a good face.
He's like kind of supposed to be like an older guy in this movie, but he
Yeah.
still feels so young.
Yeah, I mean, he could have probably shaved, and they could have done a makeup a bit differently, and he could still have been a 20-something-year-old. Maybe I'm being a bit ambitious, but
All right, I want to skip and I need to hear your thoughts. So ever since you told me you watched this movie, I have been sweating and thinking about what do you think? Because I will come out and say it. I really like this movie, and I also really like what it represents and what it means for the industry. And I think a lot of people are hating it. It's been called the worst movie of 2017, and I think that is so
really?
ridiculous.
I mean,
and I don't even know why. Also, people are like acting like because of all these bad reviews, this is a flop. Like, I've literally heard it's a flop. This is the most successful Netflix project ever. They have made more with this movie and had more views on this movie than anything. The opening weekend was like 11 million views or whatever. Like the opening day of the movie, which is like a weird kind of stat to kind of try to think about, but like it's pretty significant, guys. And they have already greenlit a sequel. So everybody who's saying this is a piece of shit and a flop is just like, you guys are fucking dumb and you're not paying attention to really what matters. But
yeah, I mean,
what
the numbers match. Like, it's a popular movie. But, you know,
Yeah,
a lot of people are
it's
going to go see a
successful.
movie and walk away with mixed feelings about it. Star Wars or whatever just happened, and people are still walking away from that being a bit. Did you say it was good? Because I don't know if I can hang out with you. Can I hang out with you because you said it's good, and I said it was, and I can't really go back on my word. People are getting really weird about Star Wars. And it's like, I don't
Yeah.
really want to go down that rabbit hole with this movie too much, but I can definitely see what you're talking about a bit, because you're thrown into this very, very unique atmosphere, like right out of the gate. First thing,
Boom.
unfortunately, that hit me sour in this movie was right at the start when they're kind of like doing the credit roll and they have this graffiti, which is obviously fake.
Yeah.
The CG work on the graffiti was bad enough for me to notice and me to start thinking already, like, is the budget, is the Netflix thing, is that already starting to show? Am I starting to see non-Hollywood already? You know what I mean? Like, and that's not a feeling you want to have in a movie right away. Even though I feel like they do much better work with the CG, with the effects, everything later on, already there's a taste in my mouth of,
Agree with that.
is this what we're going to expect from Netflix movies moving forward? And I don't want to feel like that.
100%.
But we get past that, and then we get into a crazy, obviously crazy world. What is this place, man? We have humans, we have orcs, and I thought that's all we were going to have. But then there's fairies, there's elves, and you quickly realize this is a weird, crazy fantasy that I may have had when I was a lot younger, because I used to love the game Gauntlet and Gauntlet Legends and all these different races of people, and they fight, and it's like, you know, what if it was a modern day life where these races just continued to thrive and live forward and acknowledge each other and hate each other or love each other? And this is like maybe a portal and a view into that kind of world.
Yeah.
Now they drop you in this world though, and they say, go on. You're not going to know much about how we got here. You know, they don't really, you depict it a bit with, you know, like the sprays in the beginning, and they drop hints of it through the movies, like 2,000 years ago, you know, the Dark One had come out and this had happened. But there's still, there's still a good bit
Can I
of chunk
address
missing.
that?
But
Can I address that? Because I have a huge problem with that. Because I thought that was such a good thing. A good script jumps right into action.
Now, I didn't say it was a negative thing. I said they do drop you into it.
Yeah,
They drop
okay,
you into it.
okay.
That's a fact.
Yes. Yeah.
And at first I think it's just, you're kind of, ooh, I'm a little uncomfortable, because the natural feeling of all these movies we know is like, I need to know how we got here. It's like, so people get really like sensitive somehow. I can look past that.
Yeah.
I can look past that, embrace what we're in, and just move forward. You know, I'm not going to allow that to really deter my thoughts. And I know a lot of people out there are going to be. And I can get why you'd be upset about that. I don't think people should be so defensive about it. I think they should be willing to embrace this kind of a choice of a movie that they could just put you in this and be like, you're in this world now.
Yeah.
And just go.
You want them to sit there and give a bunch of exposition of like even when they talk like 2,000 years, it's like you're just like,
oh my God.
Like, I don't care, dude.
If they had to explain the whole backstory of these 4 races and 2,000 years in the Dark One, it'd probably take an hour.
Bloodline. It's like such stupid shit. You don't want to hear that.
A summarized version would probably take an hour of this movie. I mean, we don't need all these movies to be 3 hours long where the first hour is just explaining how they got to this point.
Yeah, you don't.
And then the next 2 hours we finally get to start. No, we just want to go.
We live in a world with orcs and fairies and elves. Okay.
Hey, maybe in Bright 2. Maybe in Bright 2, they could go back and fill in.
I hope they don't.
They could. I don't know if they would. They could go back and fill in. I mean, you don't know if they would, even based on if a lot of people, and the big outcry was that they were missing a lot of the origin of the story. Do you think
No,
they
because
would?
I think that like lore like that and big history raises the stakes too much. And what is cool about this movie is that it's just is like a movie where elements happen to be fantastical, not that like everything is super, the world is going to end. I've said this before, I hate movies with gigantic stakes where it's like the world's going to end or the universe is over unless one thing happens. There is like some stakes here, okay? There's a wand, so it's like this item, and it could be, in another movie, it could have been an antidote or a bomb or a treasure or a map or whatever. You know, we're all chasing after this.
It's so bold, I feel, it's very bold choice to just call it the magic wand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you just keep watching this movie, an action movie with Will Smith, and they're like, you got to get the magic wand, and you're like, this feels really weird for some reason, but I'm into it. You know,
funny. The face you just made, like I made 20 times during this movie, where you're just like,
it's like he's got a magic wand, and it's like, yeah. I mean, if I love my lore fantasy games, and I imagine if there was the Path of Exile wand that I've always played with in our real world, it would probably be this powerful, sure, but to actually see it in this kind of view space, it definitely just continues to push people in a bit of a awkward spot.
Yeah.
You know, when you tag that in addition
now
to the story thing.
You want to feel cool, and when people say dorky words, you don't feel cool, and suddenly the thing that you like is like, ugh.
But guys, remember, we're all dorks now. Like, the generations have moved forward enough that we need to be in a spot where, you know, the kids who used to be picked on in high school for playing D&D, a lot of those people are now running the world. They're, 30-something-year-olds, and they're the ones watching these Netflix movies. And
but Magic Wand is still dorky-ass shit.
It is dorky.
Even though I love it.
There's a lot of people out there, you say Magic Wand to a chick, and, those panties are never going
If it just was
ever.
the wand, okay? If it was just the staff, the stick, whatever, if it was a simpler thing, if it wasn't a magic wand, and you're like, thinking about it so funny, like, it would have been a lot more problem. And there's a lot of dialogue and writing in this movie that is really bad.
Like no one. They passed that
really
dialogue
bad.
through, I'm sure, a bunch of people. And I wonder how many times people are like, magic wand. Are we sure we want to go to just magic wand? Are we sure we want to just say fairies?
Dude, that's all David Ayers. I'm going to tell you right now, that is all David Ayers.
I mean, I guess that's the thing with what he had with Netflix. Like, I want to have the creative control.
No, because so this is it. So Max Landis, the original writer who wrote this whole thing, he gives his script off, and Ayers rewrites the whole fucking thing. This is not the movie. It is the universe that Landis wrote, and the concept of like cops and orcs and fairies and elves and all this. It all got changed, especially dialogue. So it was interesting because Landis, who's notoriously very outspoken about all his work, as soon as this gets to trailer time, he stops talking about it. And everybody's like, why are you not talking about it? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, there's some shit going down. And then he tweeted some weird shit the other day. The only thing he said about Bright was like that the fairies' lives matters line was improv, which is basically him saying, this is not my dialogue. I didn't write this movie. They changed my shit. Oh. And everybody knew that Ayers had rewritten his draft. And now, yesterday or the day before, they announced with the sequel that Max Landis is no longer attached to it.
Oh.
So some shit went down, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Some shit went down.
Clearly.
They changed it. And I think,
wow.
The weakest points of this movie for me is the dialogue. And I think that was Ayers being a dork, and like kind of fucking up the script. But
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the world is cool, and the visuals are cool too.
Yeah.
Dude, what my favorite scene, first off, did you like this movie or not? I don't even understand.
I thought it was good.
You
I
liked
thought it was
it.
good.
Okay,
I
liked
thought
it
it was
too.
good.
I liked it a lot.
I'm not like freaking out that I'm not stoked there's a sequel coming. Okay, I'm not like, I can't wait to see the sequel. I will watch the sequel.
I'm gonna watch sequel.
But I was like, that's cool. I thought it was very unique. Like I said, like I was just getting fun feelings of like Gauntlet and seeing its world, and I love the relationships they created. I mean, what do you think about those? It's like you would think like Orc would be the evil guy, and that straight up is going to be the bad guy. And yes, he was a thug, but we get this great case of this guy who's like, pure-hearted. It feels.
Air's obsession with like '90s gang members is like way too at the front.
It's
of
a
this
bit
movie.
stereotypical, almost.
All the stereotypes are hard, and
yeah,
the racial like undertones that they ham-fisted into this movie are really not handled well and could have been done without, I think. But sorry, I had to
you
sneeze.
Okay?
Yeah, you talk. I sneeze.
He's about to sneeze. They do it. It is a bit overboard. They do it in multiple cases too, with the orcs, with the humans and stuff. They're like,
yeah, it's like,
this is a gang, right? If you didn't know, it's a gang.
Yeah, and they're all like choloed out and shit.
But it's cool, we get to see like these elves are like the rich,
like the elves.
pompous assholes who are super. I don't want to say superhuman, but they're just super species, or they're obviously like skilled fighters. They're flipping. They could carry people, throw them around the room, and
it reminded me a lot of Fifth Element. This movie, by the way.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know if you got any of that from it, but it was really like some Lilu shit with the little blonde elf girl.
Yeah,
like she didn't really say much, and she has this like super magic
power
almost and this
too passive
extra thing.
I almost thought she was
I want to know
There's
more.
times I'm like, she's awfully just doing nothing and
She's
sitting
just
around
there.
an awful lot. And then she started speaking English and stuff. He's like, now I trust you. And I was kind of like, you really didn't trust them before that?
Why
like,
wouldn't she speak English,
How
though?
many times did they save her before she finally trusted them? So it was a little weird.
I liked her character, and I just don't like what they did with her. Like, maybe it was just I just liked the actress and her aesthetic, and the like art direction on her was really, really cool. But it was just like, oh yeah, this is Lilu, and he's Corbin Dallas, and that's what's happening here, but not as fun or interesting. I think I'm excited for the sequel. So I don't know. I'm excited for the sequel.
I'm really curious, like what they're gonna do with it. They need to talk more about the fairies.
I'll say
all I know
one.
is the fairies were annoying, right? And they had to kill
Fairies
them.
are annoying.
Like, was it supposed to be like
you want to see the fairies more? I hope they don't. Fairies ruin every show.
I know. It's just like, why do you have to bring up fairies and
Fairies
then you
are
only bring them up briefly?
The Fae fairy. Doesn't matter how you do it. I haven't seen one cool designed Fae. So Kingdoms of Amalur, the game I'm playing right now, is like this old RPG. They got fairies in it, and they're Fae. They're basically like twisted elves, and they're just like, it's kind of lame. And then another show that really got ruined when fairies got introduced was True Blood. True Blood like went hard downhill after the fairies came.
There were fairies in True Blood?
Yeah, they had
I never
like,
watched that show, but I remember during
True
its
Blood is
hype and
dope.
everyone talking about it.
True Blood was dope, but fairies were fucking awful.
Yeah.
I also love this effect with the fucking wand, how it was like, oh, it was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
that's
shaking
right.
and fucking all this crazy shit. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff I just, like, look at her. She's fucking badass.
The homeless not the homeless, but the crazy guy who was talking about the prophecy they put in the car, like, he was awesome. I would love
he
to
was
see
cool.
more of him. And it's like, how does this guy provide more to the movie to me than her?
I like
the
that
girl,
they all exist in the universe, though, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I like that is a person in the universe.
Spoiler alert, by the way, guys, if you didn't already know. Did you have the hint right away that Will Smith was bright?
Yeah.
I mean, that felt pretty obvious.
I was hoping it was the orc.
Do you think... Ooh.
I was hoping it was going to be the orc.
Ooh.
And
that would have been cool.
I think, honestly, this is one of those things where Will Smith said, no, I have to be the bright.
Man.
I have to be the bright.
That would have caught, I think, so many people off guard, because I'm sure most people like me were sitting there going, and the second they said, it could happen to humans, it's just not 1 in a million. I'm like, Will Smith is a fucking bright.
Exactly.
Will Smith's a bright, and I guarantee that at the end of this movie, he's going to have to hold the wand to save the day. What the fuck happens?
Yeah. That felt like I'm serious.
It was
I
like
felt
Avengers all
Will
over
Smith
again.
just fucking like was like, my character needs to be the biggest and the best. And I mean, I'm totally making up if that happened, but I thought it would have been cool. I was like, please, please, please tell me you are red herring me and I am wrong and it's gonna be the orc, because that would have been cool. That would
I actually would not have expected that, and I would have been floored.
Yeah, you
I
would
would
have
been
like,
like,
shit,
what?
Nice, but Will Smith's got to be the star. He's a star.
Hey, in the sequel, I bet you.
No way. He's not gonna be two brights. We're both brights.
Will Smith's gonna transfer his bright powers into.
The coolest scene for me, by the way, in this whole movie, which was like, wow, I want Skyrim in modern setting so bad, was when the elves went into the nightclub, and it's all fucking super neon demon like.
Oh yeah.
Only God Forgives, neon lighting. It's one of these scenes. You can see it for a second.
Is
here.
it where they're also having the concert or whatever, or no?
No, not that one. No, it's in the nightclub, not the party. So,
okay.
And then they're all fucking rogues, right? So they're all rogues, and they have their daggers, and they're so fast, and they're like, and like jumping around the room and fucking killing everybody. And it's like, that is what like a rogue is like, and that is what a modern day elf rogue would be like in the scene. And holy shit, that's badass. And everybody's dying. It looks so cool. Oh my God, this movie's great.
Yeah.
I want more of this universe, this modern day, like almost vampire-like elves kind of fucking thing going on.
There's a lot of great atmosphere to this movie. You know, they do a really good job just kind of making everyone feel like they're, you know, I feel terrible for not remembering the name of the orc partner, but you know, making him feel like out of place, the remarks, the snideness from his fellow orcs.
The orc partner, by the way, you know that actor. I forget his name right now. You know him, but you would never know that it's him. It's one of those guys that the.
I feel terrible because normally all these movies we do, I have like the full.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
on my doc,
this is a little different. Overall,
fantastic.
I say we can wrap Bright here.
Yeah.
I'm super happy it exists. I love the idea of high fantasy in a kind of low world setting. I want to see more of the blonde elf girl. I want to see less of the gangbanger orcs.
Yep.
Again, into the idea, into the visuals. Also, I would say Netflix did a good job of making it. There were scenes that were like, you could tell they had to chintz out on the budget a little bit, but they spent money and they spent it well, and Ayers can do action.
After I got past like those spray paints at the beginning, I wasn't really getting that feeling anymore through the rest of the movie. So,
well, usually that kind of stuff, like title sequences or individual one-off kind of effects, are not done by the main company. They're another company is hired to do it, and sometimes it can be one of the last things that gets done. And
they're like,
just,
we spent a shit ton on that party fight. So
exactly.
We're gonna need MS Paint tags.
Exactly.
No, I get it, and I agree. I think you know, I hope this is a note for people to be able to kind of be very open-minded with their movies moving forward, just like
what is this?
Netflix was very open-minded, I'm sure, taking on this kind of a project.
Look at this.
Oh, is this like a lore breakdown?
They released a
Bright?
lore breakdown.
Oh,
some
goodness.
history of magic.
At its origin, magic was used for good. And
Oh,
nearly
God.
every village had a
It feels like a
wizard as
PSA,
their
like
magic
a public
God, yeah.
access PSA of the lore.
26th century BC, when the new Egyptian pharaoh Khufu.
It
And this is
used
officially
his powers to
Netflix
control
released.
That's cool.
Now,
Noticing
I'll
these
check this out later for sure.
This looks like
But
a
do you think this was something they intended the whole time? Is this
ancient
something-
aliens, dude.
is
Ancient
it
aliens.
Illuminati. Oh, that's funny. They actually mentioned it in the movie. They're like, oh no, this was after the moon. They took out the Illuminati 100 years ago. or
Oh,
some shit.
really? They did?
Yeah.
I missed that
It was
one.
like an offhand remark.
No, this looks like ancient aliens. This looks like some History Channel, Discovery Channel shit. You know, this is funny. This is cool. I bet this was probably part of the marketing campaign. I'm assuming that this is all from whoever handles Netflix marketing. Is like, you know, this was never like David Ayers is not like, oh, I want to have a history of magic fucking thing in it. You know? Yeah, look at that graffiti. Ugh, bad graffiti is so bad.
I'll have to check this out. That seems cool. I would be very curious to hear more about the actual lore history, and it like takes you all the way through the time and talking about the Shield of Light and shit. That's cool. So
Oh my God, I'm done with my coffee already.
check that out and bring that to your. And yeah, should we rate Bright in
Dramatization.
any sort of way here?
Oh, I hate fucking rating movies.
Okay.
My rating is I would
Would you check it
recommend
out
you.
or not?
Yeah, you should watch it. That's my rating. Do I tell people to watch it or not? There's tons of reasons to watch
it.
movies. I think you should watch this movie.
right.
It's on Netflix. Will Smith is great. There are things that you will definitely roll your eyes at and just be like, why does this exist?
Yeah.
Why did he say that?
Magic
You're
wand.
ruining this for me. And like things that characters do that you're like, there is no reason for that to just happen. But get over it. Have fun. Enjoy a dumb action movie
Support
that's
the
got
movie.
fantasy.
Support Netflix. They're open to see this kind of creativity and stuff. We would love to see more of that. Straight to Netflix movies. That's cool. You know, I
Yeah,
love my
dude.
theater experience, but why not have a little bit of competition? Why not have a little bit of everything? So that is Bright. Oh, the only thing that we really kind of watched, that we both happened to watch during
Yeah.
our break time. But
Now let's get into our binges.
what kind of dark shit do we watch on our own though? Is the thing. Do you want to start? Do
You want
me
to start? We can start with Dark.
Start with dark. What?
Dark. The show Dark.
Okay.
Cause so,
Man, what
this is
Dark is.
this is Dark. Well, let's watch trailer. Can we fully watch trailer so that Dakota can actually
Yeah, because
see
I
it?
have no idea what this is.
Schon vor Wochen ist in der Kleinstadt Winden ein 15-jähriger Junge auf mysteriöse Weise verschwunden. Und nun alarmiert ein weiterer Vermisstenfall die Bürger der Stadt.
Keine Spur, nichts. Als hätte er sich in Luft aufgelöst.
Alles ist genauso wie vor 33 Jahren. Alles wiederholt sich.
Diese Stadt ist krank. Und wir alle sind ein Teil davon. Unter uns ist ein Mörder.
Nicht nur die Vergangenheit beeinflusst die Zukunft, sondern auch die Zukunft die Vergangenheit. Tick-Tack, Tick-Tack.
Anfang ist das Ende. Und das Ende ist der Anfang.
Oh my God.
That is, well, dark. That is some, like, creepy Saw shit.
Dude.
Some mystery repeating Ring meets Saw annual kidnapping children shit. Like, what?
I just got the
In
chills
German.
like 3 times. Yes, it is
Okay.
German. So, little context. This is a German produced content. So they've Netflix has started experimenting with international
First off,
directors.
how do you get into this? Like, how do you just find out about this? Why are you going down this?
My sister-in-law, the day this came out, said, you need to watch Dark. Just trust me. And she's got a great opinion on all things. So I checked it out. Me and Andrew watched the first episode. And we were kind of just like, what are we watching?
No, wait,
and
pump the brakes here. It's a show, not a movie.
this is not a movie. This is
Okay.
10 episodes,
One
hour
season.
each,
Okay.
one season. First off, please God, don't watch this with dub. The dub is very, very bad.
Okay.
We watched a little bit of it in dub. It's awful. So I did all German with subtitles.
Mhm.
It's just so much better.
Okay.
They get a lot of things wrong with the audio dub, and it's just as silly. You don't take it seriously. The music also is fucking so good in this movie, in this show. It's really thoughtful. It's hard for me to tell you too much, and I'm happy the trailer is like
Yeah.
it is, and you're so confused.
Yeah.
because you should be.
You're just here to tell us a bit like why we need to go check.
No,
this
you need to
particular
check
thing
this
out.
out.
Don't
okay?
spoil it. We're not.
It
writing,
is
we're not
shot
writing this.
super well. It is written super well. The story you just don't see coming at all, and nothing. All the marketing for it is great because they don't give away anything, and it is gonna really take you on a ride that you're just like, where they end up at the end of the season, where they start at the beginning, are such different universes that you don't even know how you got to that point. So for me, being so consistently surprised and excited to watch each episode and when I just finish it, and also it feeling so real. Again, I preach the stakes. This is high concept show, okay? About as high concept as you can get.
Is there anything out there? Is there any show or movie that someone might like that would?
If you like
definitely love
Stranger
this?
Things,
Okay.
If you like, I want to almost even say Bloodline or kind of family or political drama. This is all that.
Okay.
It is so grounded, and what makes the show so good is, it again, super high concept, but it is all about a little town and the people in it and the lives they live and the decisions they've made and how everything impacts them, not the whole world, but them and their problems, which are real problems, but they're people problems. They're problems that you or I could have or somebody. It's not like... it's not something that is unattainable what is going on there. It is the circumstances that are fantastical around that make it super crazy, but it's so real that you're just like, you're in there for the drama of what's happening to these people, and then it's heightened by this scenario.
Would you say that's kind of similar to like Lost? Like Lost when on the island, and it's like
Yes.
there's a lot between each
Great.
other, but there's something going on.
Great.
All right.
Yeah,
That-
first
I
3
love Lost.
seasons of Lost.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
But much
The best part
darker.
of Lost.
Also, yeah, well, I mean, you know, Lost was only planned for 3 seasons, and then they ended up
remember
adding
that.
the others. So, other thing I love about this show is the fucking coloring. This is one of the best colored shows
this
on
looks
Netflix,
pretty
period.
crazy, yeah.
It is beautiful. Look at every scene. The compositions are really thought out. The colors are super important in everything about this. Like his big yellow. Like, look at these yellows. Look at the fucking reds. Like, everything pops for reasons, which is just, for me, people cared about this show a lot from beginning to end, from writing to post, and you should take a look at it because of that. So, my number one recommendation, my favorite show
Wow,
that
you
I
just-
watched over
You just
it.
went out with your number one.
I mean, this is the best show I watched this break.
Okay.
I think more people should watch it. I think
Wow.
it's hard for some people to watch foreign language shows, but
Yeah.
this is fucking about as excellent
That
as
says
it
a
gets.
lot, though. I mean, you're taking a. I'm not trying to say anything bad about a German movie or anything like that, but you're taking a movie that you have to put that little bit of extra
You
effort
do.
in, and you're saying that this is your number one. That should get a lot of people curious. I mean, I'm curious enough. I'll probably check it out.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to everybody.
Cool. Awesome. So that is Dark on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right? And you can catch the full 10 episodes, an hour each, right now if you want to get the binge going there. As I mentioned before, I was a big documentary binger this time.
By the way, I watched this in a day and a half.
Whoa.
Yeah, just
Went
Just
in your
did it.
room and just
did it.
did it.
Bye.
Dang.
Yeah, okay. So you're up.
I'll start with Rats.
You're the rat man over here.
I only got into this because I think I heard it offhand in another podcast, and I got somewhat interested.
Wait, it's
based on
Dakota
the-
Group?
on
Did
the-
you see that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. Dakota Group? All right, cool.
Yeah, when it plays again over, you'll see it. It's
And this is from the creator of Super Size Me, Morgan Spurlock.
Oh, really? The
Yeah,
redhead guy.
So the guy who ate McDonald's every day, and everyone knows that documentary. So here's this one about rats, and I think this is the concept of it, and what you're getting into is pretty damn straightforward. You know, rats and their environments and places on the earth that have it the worst, pretty much. And it's like, you know, you're not going to be getting your crazy like thrillers or anything. I definitely recommend not watching this while you eat.
Oh, God.
And this goes all over the world. Obviously, you know, New York City, which is often said that there is a rat for every person in Manhattan, and most believe that it's even more rats per person. You know, they take you into the city, they show you all over the place. They take them into the labs.
What the fuck?
You get to see all of the disgusting shit that these rats have inside of them and carry with them. And rats, you know, they're immune to this stuff. They're immune to having these kind of diseases and parasites that they carry around with them. And one bad bite, you know, you're screwed. And look at what's happening here. This is in India, I believe. In Mumbai,
God.
they have to have night crews take care of the rat problem, and they're doing it without any sort of safety. No shoes, no gloves, easily at risk to be bit, but they're doing it to protect the kids. They're doing it to protect their village. It's, you know, but they're smart. And they're evolving, and they can resist the poisons we dish to them. Dan, these creatures are obviously a lot smarter than most people give them credit for. You're talking about instances where you lay out poison, and
those tails.
these
Ugh.
alpha rats will put the beta rats out like, you try that shit. And then they'll watch them. And they'll watch them, and they're like, he died. We're not going near that shit. We're going to piss on it and tell everyone else don't go near it.
What?
And they move on. That's what happens. That last scene there was also incredibly gnarly and hard to watch.
Dude, I don't know if I can watch this movie.
So again, I would not recommend watching this if you have food, but if you're like me and you're just really awkward and want to know more about this kind of
You're a pervert.
fascinating shit, get on board. That latter part is, you know, the terrier dog is like a rat hunting specialist.
Dakota Group.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You're welcome. they're like rat hunting specialists or whatever by nature. Like they're small, they have their legs are a little,
They're little
like
farm
around
dogs,
quick
yeah.
and whatever. So that last part, they had this like fleet of like 30 terriers, and the dude just goes around and smokes out the rats. And when they come out, the terrier, it's like The Walking Dead. When a rat comes out, and they just rip it apart.
That's fucking foul, dude.
It's crazy.
Have you ever killed a rat?
No,
I have
I've
a
killed a
horrific
mouse.
story about killing a rat.
Oh, tell me.
You want? So I'm from Chicago. We have rats. We actually have pretty good control over the population. What they do is that they stopped killing or impounding cats, like wild cats, and instead they started like just nipping them and keep putting them back out there, and then collecting them and then releasing them in communities with high rat populations.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're all neutered and spayed, and then they just go into like a part of the city where you got a bad problem, and they fucking just plow it out, and then they collect them all and they take them to the next neighborhood, and it fucking like it was crazy how much it's affected the city's rat population. Yeah. But so when I lived in Lincoln Park on the east side, my apartment building had some issues. The rats had dug 14 feet under the concrete and then made a fucking layer underneath the apartment. We didn't figure this out until later. But when we started to figure it out, I found a rat in my room. And this rat was, I'm not kidding, it was about this big, okay? From head to tail.
Dan,
easy.
if you can't hear,
Dude,
if you're just
yeah.
listening, he's
Okay,
got a
it's
good
about
2 footer.
No,
like
it's
tail.
about a foot. It's a foot. It was like a foot.
That's a big ass
foot and
foot
3.
right there.
Foot and 3. That's 100% a foot and
foot
3.
and 3?
Yeah.
All right.
So, dude, this tail was as thick as my fucking finger, you know?
That's
and
frightening.
I lived in the garden of I had a 2-story apartment, and there was 5 of us in there, and I had the garden unit, and it's in my fucking room. And there's 3 of us, me, my girlfriend, Kelly, and a guy, Scott, who I lived with at the time. And the rat is fucking screaming and running around my room, and I take an oar. I had an oar for some reason.
Because you're Dan.
And
you got an oar.
I don't want to do it. I have a big thing about animals. I don't like killing animals. I don't like hurting
did it?
them. It runs straight at my feet, and I just, okay? All right? But I didn't kill it. I just knocked it out. And so then we had to kill it. So then we put it in a bucket, and we drown it. But the bucket was big enough so that we had to, the only way we could fill the bucket was with the shower, which was a really low-pressure shower.
Oh, no.
So I'm sitting there with pinning the
Torturing
rat,
him.
okay, and he wakes up because when I hit the water on him, and he's fighting for his fucking life to get out, and I'm sitting there like crying, like not able to even look at it, and it takes like 15 minutes, dude, for the water to fill up to get the bucket to kill him.
Now, before anyone starts to try to feel sympathetic for this rat, I mean,
you gotta fucking do it.
You should watch this shit first to realize that thing needs
Dude,
to
you have
go.
a foot-long rat
right?
in your fucking bedroom. The thing's going.
Who knows what that thing's carrying, and it won't care who the fuck you are. You got to watch out.
Oh, I get shivers, and I cry every time I think about it.
Horrific. Never had to interact with a rat, but I did live in New York City for 5-6 years in Manhattan, so they're everywhere. And, you know, those businesses and restaurants and pubs all down the streets, they put their trash out on the street at night.
Yeah,
and they go in. The rats just easily pop up from the sewer into those bags, and you can see in the video, you just kick that bag, and suddenly, there it is. Boom! Freaks of them run out, and they're just fucking everywhere, and they're growing, and they're evolving, and it's crazy.
This is disgusting. Do I have to watch this, though?
You have to have a strong stomach to watch this. If you're just a freak like me and you like this kind of stuff, I definitely recommend it, but don't offer to see it with your lady. Unless your lady's got a strong stomach, then you guys might be into some freaky shit. So I wanted to lead in with this one. That's why. It's just I want to get that out of the way. That was a fascinating little fun watch for me and myself.
Can you believe that some people like stick rats in their ass?
Dan, keep that off the record.
Next,
Dan, it's on you. What was your next?
I don't have my list in front of me, so I'm just trying to remember. Let's talk Ozarks.
Ozarks.
What is that?
Is that a show? Is that a movie?
Ozarks is a Netflix show.
Okay.
It is Jason Bateman. Okay. And this is another in the tradition. There's been like 5 family dramas where either a family is involved in a legal activity together. Okay, first off, lots of Chicago in this, which is what really hooked me, obviously. Greatest city in the
Jason
world.
Bateman, this is a serious movie.
It's a serious movie. He's amazing.
He's
gotten some awards for
I don't know
this.
if I've seen him in anything serious.
Dude,
he's great, funny.
Yeah, and he is funny in parts of this, which makes the character seem very human.
You're meaning to tell me he's a freak of nature.
He's a freak. He's so good. He's so solid in this movie. or in the show. So another family drama where the family is doing something illegal and they're all in on it. In the tradition of,
Can you tell us, or is that going to spoil the movie?
no, I can tell you. So he's a money launderer. You find that out right away. Okay. So he's a money launderer, and like Bloodline, Weeds, Ozarks is all about dealing with your family while dealing with these really fucked up issues. And the difference in this show is that they have to leave Chicago for some reasons, and they go out to the Ozarks, which is in the middle of Mississippi or Missouri, or I can't remember where. I feel bad now.
The Ozarks. So
yeah,
is that,
it's like a region.
It's a region.
Yeah, it's like a region.
Imagine like Stonehenge or some shit. Like
No,
the Ozarks.
It's like a series of lakes and wilderness.
Okay, sounds
in,
badass. Something like in
it's like some
Louisiana,
super
right?
hickey shit, you know,
it's hickey.
like white trash and.
That's a shame. It sounds
but
like such a cool name.
But the town itself is like.
That's badass.
Yeah, I mean it's super badass, but it is still white trash. So lots of really cool characters. In particular, my favorites are the young woman in here who's kind of the local bad girl and gets involved with Jason Bateman. Figures out what he's doing there, that he's laundering money, and then kind of joins his team. Hard to tell you too much about it. There's drugs, money laundering, the Mexican mafia, and Jason Bateman. And
I would say just for Jason Bateman to see him do something like this.
His performance is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The wife's is good too. I mean, everybody's good on the show. I think there's a couple of people I don't like for various reasons, but a very solid show. This is an interesting thing, by the way. I'm having trouble talking about this too much without spoiling it.
That's fine.
But I'm trying to think of like, what would I say to get you to watch this? Is really Jason Bateman, and it's like a fucked up family drama, and it's overall a good show. Now
that's kind of in right now. You know, family dramas. They're getting into Breaking Bad, maybe.
Yeah,
Let's,
Breaking Bad.
Set
Breaking Bad
the,
is the same
set the
thing.
Stage for people to really have fun with that kind of idea. And I know everybody loved Breaking Bad, so it sounds
her.
great.
That's the little girl. She's so good. She's so fucking good.
Super appealing. So
and he's so good. Jason, he's like a fucking stone cold motherfucker in this movie, but he's like a huge nerd. It's kind of like parts of it remind me of that movie with Ben Affleck, The Accountant, when he's like an autistic assassin, and part of me reminds me of that because he's like, Jason Bateman is always the smartest guy in the room in this. Yeah, oof. Yeah, great. So if you want to notice something interesting about this,
a bus, a truck.
Do you see how this all looks? All the shots look a certain way, a little blue tinge almost to everything, right?
Yeah.
So the whole show was shot at the same white balance, 4400, I believe, is what they shot it at. The entire show, and that was to give it consistency, no matter if they were inside, outside, day, night, whatever. The show would have the same look and feel, no matter what they did in post and whatever. In camera, it was always like, look how blue that is, So normally you'd white balance a scene to whatever your lighting conditions are. This is a super cool approach, I think, from the DP to just be like, no, let's really be unique and give this a whole different flavor by shooting everything at one white balance. I think it's really cool. Mm-hmm. We actually do that at the Summit for different reasons, but with the same goal of consistency, but not for artistic reasons as much as consistency reasons. But I thought that was a really cool thing as well.
Cool. Well, that's Ozarks.
Ozarks, check it out.
How many episodes is season out there of?
I want to say 10. I
10
feel like most
episodes,
shows are 10.
hour episodes.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good binge.
A little rough. Yeah.
It's a good binge.
Dude,
right
yeah.
there.
I went in. I went all in. Okay.
All right, back to me.
You're up. Dude, I need a fucking.
All right. Should I jump into this one right now? I'm gonna die. I'll jump into this one right now. Hot Girls Wanted. All right. Hot Girls Wanted is a documentary
Porn.
on Netflix right now about porn.
This
I'm not
is-
gonna lie. That is what drew me in right away.
This is a show that I would be scared for my girlfriend to see in my Netflix queue.
Now, should we watch the trailer first? I mean, I guess I could just put it out there.
I mean,
The thing is, like, it's not a documentary about porn that you're probably expecting for most people out there. It's not like
could you whip it out during it?
Oh, you're probably going to like, I kind of want to see what it's like when they're not shooting porn and what are they doing in between and everything like that and what's their day to day.
She's like naked.
But you kind of learn a real hard lesson real quick when you watch a movie like this. Now, this was done by Rashida Jones.
Jones.
Which we know who that is. She's a popular actress. She was on The Office.
Which one is she?
I Love You Man, I think. And
brunette.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
And
she made this?
She's the director or producer?
I bet she's producer.
But this is like her.
And I apologize. I'm interrupting you so much. Okay. Is this there's two of these. Is this the second one or the first one?
There's two of these?
Yeah.
I had no idea. This is the
so
one
this is the first one. They made up a follow-up.
Really?
Yeah, they made a follow-up.
Oh,
yeah.
Goodness. I guess I'll have to check out the follow-up. So let's talk about what this is about, because I'm sure there's a lot of 12-year-olds out there still watching this and giggling about how it's porn.
Yeah, can you beat off to this?
So, no. Actually, quite the opposite here. So.
Oh, my God.
Oh, good. We have some help here.
I'm
good. Thank you.
Queen. Thank you.
Shouts to Danica there. All right. So, I mean, Rashida Jones, I don't think she's a feminist, but she's very strong about women and women's rights and everything like that. And this turns quickly into a very eye-opening experience where you can kind of question the pornification of pop culture today. I mean, what do you think about that, Dan? Like, sex is very popular now, obviously. It's in everything.
I don't want to have a daughter.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you might want to, like, if you're starting to get a bit older and you're thinking about family stuff, this becomes a hard watch real quick.
I mean,
because you quickly realize that there are a lot of kids today who are learning about sex from porn and today's porn too.
Yeah.
And they're learning a lot that this is cool and it's fine and it's whatever. And it's almost terrifying to see some of these girls they're not getting suckered into anything. They're legitimately themselves looking on Craigslist and seeing these kind of ads like hot girls in Austin, $3,000. And they go on it and then they say like, oh, when I started boarding the plane, I knew what I was getting into then. And then they go there and they do it. And when you learn a lot of the ridiculous hard facts about this stuff, it is just frightening. The average
Can I get some of these facts?
The average span of a girl's career is 3 months. 3 months. They will go there and quickly realize that they're done with it. They want to leave. Their parents find out, like any of these cases. Or they're just not wanted anymore. And at that point, after 3 months, it's on them if they want to do the niche stuff, Dan. And the niche stuff, is crazier and it's going to get them a lot more money. And,
really? The niche stuff makes more money?
Yeah, like facial abuse and shit like that. It's fucked up, But, it's on the point. And then you quickly realize that by the time they get themselves out, they've barely made what they went in with because they're got to get their clothes, they got to get their makeup, they got to travel to these things. And then they end up walking away with barely anything to show for what they just got themselves into. And it's just a lot of people who are clearly maybe not educated properly or just too excited about being famous, too much sex, too much watching what they feel is appropriate or not appropriate. And it's really, really crazy.
Okay.
And you just start to feel like, is it bad that porn isn't so taboo? Like, yeah, we're all great with it. Like, everyone watches it. You don't want to talk about it in front of everyone, but without question, it's a part of life. Like, it's just there. I think no regulation also is just kind of that unnerving thing. If you say porn, you're getting a lot of it. You're not getting just this and just the amateur, just the softcore. You're getting all of that other stuff
I feel
too.
like before there was a kind of like gradual entry into porn, at least when I was growing up. It was like J. Crew catalog was the like what you looked at. You're looking at the underwear section, and then it's like, oh man, neighbor's got a Victoria's Secret. I'm snagging that. And then it's like, oh man, brother's got a Playboy, which is like
today though.
Like, it's like, oh my God, a boob.
Dude, I found my dad's Playboys in the garage, and I was like, this is it, baby.
This is it?
We are in. Look at them 80s titties. Like, it was the best thing ever. Like, that's how, I'm like, and learning, and you got some, but like today, Dan, in this day and age, with this technology, with the phones, the computers, the laptops, you go in the room, your parents are not putting parental guidance on their shit. You type in just like 3 words in a .com.
Sex.
And you're knowing everything. And you look at everything, and everybody and your classmates and your friends are all the same age, and they have the same things, and they're all watching together, and you all think
and
it's
what
cool.
do you want to watch? You want to watch fucked up shit with your friends when you're a kid,
yeah, and suddenly Miley Cyrus is coming out, and twerking's cool, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? It's getting out of control quick. And then quickly, I could have a daughter or some shit. And
so do they talk about the implications of like younger girls and younger boys, like how they view sex and their like initial sexual relationships because of porn? You know, like what their expectations are. Like a fucking 15-year-old boy now.
I mean, that's what they expect. That's the thing, is that when they have sex, like they watch a lot of stuff. That's probably what they're expecting.
God.
A lot of the kids there are probably freaky deeks, Dan. Super freaky deeks. It's
I
weird.
mean, I eat ass is a meme. Okay? People didn't even... But in my day, we never even heard of eating ass. And now it's a fucking meme. I can't talk about this anymore. I don't know if I'm
going to finish.
I don't know if I'm
going
to watch this.
There's a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's why. It's like, I went into this, it's like, it's a porn documentary. Just like the rat thing, it's like, I'm curious. I want to know. You know, it's not something that a lot of people are just want to jump into. And then I also heard it was Rashida Jones, and there was a lot more going on with it. And it definitely opens your eyes about a lot of things. It's not going to deter you from porn. You're not going to watch this and be like, I don't want to watch porn ever again or anything like that.
Thank God.
But, you know, it's definitely going to make you think. It's going to make you think a lot, especially with whoever you are and where you are in your life. You're probably going to have a different opinion about it, which I understand, but there it is. Hot Girls Wanted by Rashida Jones.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, let's go back to you.
Oh, God. I'm a little shook by that, honestly. I'm trying to think of my list, and I'm a terrible person, so...
I mean, it's okay.
Kevin, if you could just play... Oh, Kevin's got it.
Here's Kevin's going to hand over the physical list on old-ass elementary school, grade school paper.
Well, thank you, Kevin, very much. All right, I'm going to do a combo, because these are two shows that I started and didn't finish for reasons. Wormwood and Billions. Okay, very different show. First, I'll talk about Wormwood. Wormwood is another Netflix movie, or it's not a movie, it's a show.
Sure.
It's a series. And, oh my God, I'm getting coffee right now. This is the greatest day of my life. Thank you so much.
That is in a sweet-looking BTS mug as well. And if anybody out there was like, damn, that's a good-looking mug.
Thanks,
how can
Dana.
I get that mug in my life? You got to head over to our DBH store. That's designbyhumans.com.
Nice.
I assume maybe like /Beyond the Summit or some shit
Oh,
like
look
that.
at this.
Oh, my God, look at Kevin. He's on the money right now. There's the mug. Some of that merch may not still be up there. I think it was a limited time offer.
I think we just took down the sweaters. I think the sweaters are gone.
Sweaters were great, but you can still get the Hot Cock shirt, the Movie Buff poster, and the mugs all on our Designed by Humans site. It helps support us in what we do. And don't forget,
guys,
out there,
it
big
means
money
a lot,
spenders.
honestly. It means a lot for the show and for the podcast in general, and just making original content here is supporting us, and that's a really great way to directly support us. Okay, so Wormwood, I'm going to blast through these really quick. I only watched a little bit of it. My problem with Wormwood, it is beautifully shot, almost to the point where it is like masturbatory by the team who made this movie.
My goodness.
They take too much time with how gorgeous they're trying to make everything look. That's what I think. I enjoy that, but at the same time recognize that it becomes naturally boring because shots hold too long. They, show too much for too often. The guy that's talking, the first episode is kind of painful. The guy that's being interviewed, he talks very slow about his father and all the things that happened to him.
You have like a Harry Carey thing going.
Dude, Harry Carey's my man. I think it's a fucking dead ringer, by the way, for him. I do it to Kelly, and she laughs every time because... So the whole show is about the MK Ultra experiments, which are the government, basically giving acid to people. And this is about one guy who... So that's the guy, and his dad... they told him committed suicide, but he didn't commit suicide. He was given acid and jumped out of a building and died.
Oh.
Okay? Because he didn't know what was going on.
When is this?
I don't know. Actually, didn't finish that. This is taking place over a period of time from the 1950s to when the dad died in 1953 or something.
But the government experimented with LSD and troops and seeing if it would be a brainwashing.
It's all that same thing.
Or it would they would give it to prisoners of war to make them confess and shit like that.
So the whole thing is that they're trying to find a truth serum. And this guy, the dad works in the military at a base where they are doing secret experiments, and he's actually like a agricultural botanist or something, and he is doing stuff on some secret experiments about germ warfare or something. I think that's this. I might be confusing with another show, but whatever. And then they start experimenting on him with acid. And that's when it gets in, and he dies in the beginning, and it's all... So, but what's cool about this show is that they do super dramatized, high cinema, high production value recreations of these events, combined with, like, super doc-style, talking heads, really well thought out, not like necessarily journalism, but storytelling. It's just too drawn out for me and slow. So I stopped watching after 2 episodes. I hope to continue it. It's one of those shows I will probably put on in the background and do something else just because I want to get through it, but it's hard to get through. Okay. Next is Billions. Billions is a show on Showtime, so we're taking a little path somewhere else. Okay. I also only watched a couple episodes, mostly because I just watched it at my friend's house when we were hanging out, and it is a show about...
Paul Gianni, okay.
Yeah, it's about the financial insider trading and... kind of funny business of the super rich, and then so Giamatti plays the U.S. attorney.
Great actor.
And he is. So what's funny about is this house in this show I've actually been to. There's a house in the show in this one right there. Oh. In the Hamptons, which is like the $65 million mansion that I filmed a video at 2 years ago. The guy that owns or started Ameritrade, it's his house, and I filmed a video for him once there. It was so funny when it popped up on the show. I was like, I've been there, and it's like It's a big part of the show is him buying this house. So it's all about this guy who is like a billionaire, and then the Giamatti, and he's crooked, and Giamatti's U.S. attorney who's trying to catch him, and it's all about the relationships. It's a pretty good show. Ooh. I found it, for me, some of it's hard to watch and enjoy because all the people are assholes on it, and I used to work in finance with traders. I was a trader in Chicago, and it reminds me a lot of that, and don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know if this is for me. I'm not a very good numbers dude.
They're kind of, it's just kind of like, we're rich assholes, and like...
It's just going to make me hate corporate America even more, really.
You will, but, Giamatti's trying to fuck them all, so you kind of enjoy that. So,
yeah, he's great.
I like the show. I'd watch it. It's kind of middle ground between trashy and, like, well-thought-out drama. It's one of those things, though, where they, like, have stupid sex shit in it, to be like, these rich guys are so weird. They like fucked up sex, and it's like, it's every time you see one of these scenes, you're just like, why is this fucking happening? But interesting show. I thought it was fun that I had the connection to the house. I didn't finish it. I'd like to watch it. I think it's in its 2nd season now. It's pretty interesting though. The characters are cool. Like, he fucking has his eyes closed like this the entire time, like he's Batman, which is a little bit annoying.
Clint Eastwood kind of thing.
Yeah. But it's good. So
I'm always kind of like iffy when I hear like the Billions, the Suits, and those kind of things. Like I know a lot of people love those shows.
I always pass.
But I always pass. Just I can't. I feel like I say this and I don't relate at all to the other stuff I already mentioned. But I'm like, I feel like I need to relate, or it's like maybe I don't relate, but I feel like I need to know what the fuck's happening.
Some kind of connection, right?
Some kind of connection. I'm like, it's not like I eat rats or I do watch porn like everyone else, but it's like I have no connection at all.
Not everybody watch porn. You're a freak, and you should feel bad about yourself.
Sorry, all my Jesus lovers out there. I guess I don't know. Cool stuff though.
Yeah, interesting. So those are 2. I can keep going, or you can go. You got. I know you got more. I
got another. Let's go back because I really like this one. Now, this may have been my favorite watch of my holiday binge. Another documentary called Icarus. It's a doping documentary about doping in sports, and this was by Brian Fogel. This is a 3.5-year process, 3.5-year documentary process right now, and I don't want to feel like I'm reading like this, but I want to make sure I do it justice on this one. But it's just started from an idea from back when Lance Armstrong had confessed, as we know, to doping. And for those of you, there's a lot of people out there with the perception that Lance Armstrong was caught and that's why he had everything taken away. Let's remind everyone that Lance Armstrong was actually never caught. He had taken 500+ doping tests and had passed every single one of them. And the only reason he was caught was due to testimonies from other bikers and his own team that was ultimately finally brought him down.
So he got ratted on?
Like over time. Like this is just a thing, I guess, in cycling. Now, I'm not a big cycler. I don't follow cycling at all, but this is the most I've been exposed to cycling was really
Kevin's a big cycler.
But he's like, no. It's like, I'm a unicycler.
Kevin doesn't know how to ride a bike.
But I guess like doping in cycling was not super surprising. Like there had been people who were like, he's probably doping. These top 10 cyclists are likely doping, but for some reason they're always passing. Like, what the fuck is happening or whatever. So it's not till the feds like really get involved and approach all of his teammates and are like, you know, you can either confess and tell us that Lance Armstrong is doping and you get off free, or we find out you're lying and you're all going to get in serious trouble. And eventually they all spill the beans on Lance. And he eventually comes clean. This comes after many years of him saying, like, I'm the most tested athlete. There's no way. I've passed everything. Finally, you know, he's called out on it, and it's over. He gets everything taken away from him, and it's cycling has been mega doping this whole time. And apparently the last few years it's been pretty good. So cycling fans out there, don't worry, I guess. Recently, they've cleaned up their act quite a bit. But this is crazy. So this is how the idea had spawned. Now, Brian Fogel, the creator of this, is a huge cyclist himself. Bless you.
Sorry.
Huge cyclist himself, like an amateur pro or whatever. He competes in like the event that's just below Tour de France that amateurs can also get into.
So he's hardcore.
And he's like a top 20 cyclist. So he's pretty hardcore. And he goes into this. He wants to do the idea of essentially like he uses himself as a guinea pig to be like, I'll dope up with the help of scientists, because he had called around these scientists like, and continue to ask him these kind of questions.
Oh, he dopes in the movie.
He dopes in the movie. He asks these questions like, you know, is there a fail-proof way to anti-dope or some shit? Like, is it possible for people to get by in the doping system? And they're all like, yeah, for sure. And so he's like, really? And he's like, would you be willing to do this experiment with me? And most of them were like, no. But then one guy who is retired from WADA, and WADA is the World Anti-Doping Agency, said, I can recommend you this guy. And he is soon to become a very prominent figure in this documentary, and his name is Grigory. Grigory, I want to get his full name here. Don't hate me, guys. He is the Russian head of the Russian WADA, World Anti-Doping. He's been the lead there for many, many years. Grigory Rodchenkov. I'm going to call him Grigory from wrong. He runs the WADA for Russia. And they get to finally meet in question. And when Brian approaches Grigory, he asks him, you know, is it possible for an athlete to win a medal in the Olympics without doping? And he says, no. I should believe this, but maybe I'm a bad man. So that is just like,
whoa.
Brian's sitting there like, what?
Whoa.
Now Brian's coming to this like, I just want, you know, can I dope up with your help?
Yeah.
Do this race.
Yeah.
Get by clean, and we can just see what happens. So Brian's like, I'm gonna do this. He does this race the first time clean as like a, what is it?
Not a catalyst, not a variable, control.
A control. He does the race clean.
I'm
right?
a scientist.
And then he's gonna, a year later. This is why it takes 3.5 years to do this movie. A year later, he wants to do it doped up. Now, while they're getting ready to do this process, and he's starting to dope up, and he was doing it for like 6 months, an investigation starts to break out against the Russian WADA as far as, you know, potential doping in track and field or some shit. So while they're trying to interrogate Grigory and stuff like that, and Russia's under this ridiculous watch now of possibly doping, Grigory gets out of Russia, thanks to Brian, gets him a ticket to fly out of there. Somehow he's able to escape. And Grigory begins to go in, and I don't really want to reveal a whole lot of this.
Yeah, by the way, I'm like,
you quickly like, okay, so the documentary starts like, we're gonna do doping in cycling, and quickly becomes, Russia has been doping in everything ever. I'm serious. Like, there's a good chance that Russia and Beijing and all these Olympians who've won medals have been doping the whole fucking time, and it is crazy.
I remember,
it's
after
crazy.
you watch this, you messaged me like, holy fuck Russia. They fucking cheat. Fuck them. Like, I was just like, what are you watching?
Ridiculous.
What are you talking about?
And, you know, I really feel like I can't do this justice without going into like a full podcast length dialogue about it, and I don't want to.
It's definitely a watch, though.
It is a super serious, super intense watch. It's now at the point where there are 1,200 documents of interaction between the Russian state and Grigory in the WADA lab about athletes who have taken it. Like, there's documents showing these are the athletes that have taken it. This is what they took, and this for this event. And it could be going back all the way to the '84 Olympics or some shit.
Wow.
So it's nuts. It's crazy. It is a super awesome anti-doping watch. And Grigory is currently in the witness protection program in the States right now.
Wow. What? Well, I mean, Putin's got to want to get the guy. Wait, didn't they? So wait, am I?
And I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, wait, isn't Russia, weren't they in the Olympics or aren't they going to be in the Olympics?
Aren't they not going to be in the Olympics?
They were not. And then they overturned it.
Oh, really?
And then we were kind of left with a weird situation of WADA's like, they should not be permitted. They should be banned. But the Olympic Council or heads are like, no.
Like, nah, dude. I'm
Russia.
getting paid in gold bricks.
Yeah,
so.
so it's crazy. And I think it's a fun and very interesting, eye-opening experience. And if you guys are into that kind of thing, I highly, highly recommend it. And then you should probably check out, like, Brian's podcast with Joe Rogan. They get to go
there's a
lot.
Rogan podcast.
There's a Rogan podcast with him. And I tried to tune into that. And they go into it a bit. And it is crazy, man. It is crazy.
Can I ask you
highly
a question?
recommend Icarus.
Icarus, highly recommended. Definitely going to check it out now. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't interested when you first talked about it, but you just got me. You pulled me in. Do you care about doping?
Do I care about doping?
Do you think doping is good or bad? Like, do you think it matters?
It's tough. Like, after watching this, it's like, it would be great to live in a world where all athletes could just use what they were born with and their talent and their raw, like, workout and just, like, all of that process to compete with. But this really makes it apparent that that might be impossible.
I want to live in a world where all doping is legal.
Legal.
I want to live in a world where we are allowed to do whatever we want to humans in order to achieve the best possible result. And it becomes a mix of athleticism and science to push our bodies to places they've never been before. And
now, when I hear that, the first thing I would get nervous about, and I'm sure maybe some people out there are, is like, does that mean it involves like human experimentation with crazy ass drugs? Can we trust
yes.
everyone out there to do it?
Yes.
I mean, the thing is like, these are people and it's them and their rights and their bodies to be able to do that. And that's like the whole drug movement really is. It's like,
why not?
Why are people controlling what you do with your own body and to
like,
it? And
why can I have a protein shake after I work out, but I can't have, beta-glutohydroxymocoline to fucking
by the way,
improve
the stuff they're
growth?
throwing out that they're using on these, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Either.
It's
It's
all
not like
crazy.
they're just like steroid. They're exactly what you said, like anti-guacablocablockabine that gets injected into the buck.
I mean, I just want to see some freaks doing some freak shit, and that would make me excited.
Well, the thing is, Dan, apparently you've been seeing freaks do freak shit for
exactly.
decades now.
Look at baseball. They fucking killed baseball when they took steroids
if
away.
all was legal and they were given like permission to use the crazier shit that they can't now because that would be detected. Like, I don't know.
I'm just saying, I had a lot of fun watching Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa smash baseballs when I was a kid.
That's true. That was probably the hypest baseball has ever been for anyone.
Ever. Now it's like,
I'm sorry, baseball fans.
There they are. Top of the ninth, it's 1-0.
Dude, baseball fans out there
fucking miserable.
Fucking kill that guy.
What a
Missing
shitty
data.
sport. You know what? It does have the best job of any sport is a relief catcher or a dugout catcher in baseball who never actually does anything but warms up pitchers.
The pitchers?
And they make like $350K.
Damn.
Not bad. You just squat, pack a lip, hang out, drink a beer. Who cares? You're just fucking catching balls and throwing them back. I'll watch Icarus, though.
Watch Icarus. The name obviously stems from like the ambition of the story itself, and he portrays in the sense of Armstrong.
The Nintendo game, right?
Pushing his
Kid Icarus.
pushing his ambition so far that he eventually got it too close to the sun, and his world came crashing down as it is.
Okay, I have three more. Fuck,
I only
dude.
have one more.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
I have two more. Sorry,
I'm gonna try to bunch some of these together. Okay,
We're doing good.
I'll do one. So to keep on the kind of like documentary stuff, the one documentary I watched was a BBC documentary called Magic of Mushrooms.
I have heard of this a bit.
Yeah. I'm
excited you got to watch it because I've been curious and I want to hear your thought on it.
I've had a bit of a hard-on for mushrooms this past month.
Now people are going to assume you mean drug mushrooms right away.
No, I'm actually not. Although psilocybin and psychoactive mushrooms are fucking cool. I'm actually just talking about normal mushrooms or just the rest of the mushroom world, which are not normal. They're fucking crazy. And this movie goes into extreme detail about the insanity that is mushrooms and how crucial they are to everything we do. Like building blocks of life and what makes the world spin ultimately can boil down to mushrooms, and saving the world ultimately might boil down to mushrooms. It is so insane. There's also a great Joe Rogan podcast on mushrooms with a guy who is like literally changing the world with what he's doing with mushrooms.
Yeah. Mushrooms have been around forever.
Forever.
I mean, people assume that it might be possible that back in the day, those old dudes were eating mushrooms and seeing Jesus, and that's how everything started.
Yeah.
Really. And now, you know what?
And now you're looking at
Seems
and
pretty
you're realizing what everything that happens in the world is almost always thanks to these mushrooms and what they do. And so I got into this really randomly because Kelly had been looking for a way to help reduce the waste they were using at the coffee shop she manages. And she had been for a long time wanting to find a way to work with mushroom farmers, but couldn't really figure it out because I guess what happens is oyster mushrooms can grow in spent coffee grounds, but they need another thing. So they need like grain or sawdust. So this guy calls her and he's like, hey, I've been collecting spent grain from the brewery called Haywood in Chicago, and I'm looking for coffee. And now he's going to take 70 gallons of coffee grounds a week.
Damn.
And he's starting a mushroom farm. And it's going to be with spent coffee grounds and spent grain from the brewery.
Sounds like
and
the
then
best deal he could ask for.
It's free. I mean, all this shit is free. And then you just start with like one spore, which you can just get from another mushroom, and you cut the bottom off. And they talk about it in this. And then you can populate an entire fucking farm.
That's cool.
So that got me into it, and I watched this, and it was just like super nerdy,
Is
like
there any
dorky,
like crazy
BBC.
downsides to mushrooms at all? Like, did they
I
say
mean,
anything about
some
the
will kill
scares?
you.
Yeah, I believe that.
There's also invasive mushrooms that are destroying forests. There are,
really? Yeah.
because they are like,
They can be like a parasite, I guess, in their own way.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
They are like super greedy. Some of them, the mycelium is what it's called. Is like basically that fuzzy white stuff that you see is like what mushrooms actually are.
And mushrooms are like, I understand. I've also
Yeah.
heard how amazing they are, but they're like weird looking, and they could be like scary looking. Is that
They're crazy.
like
There's
you see
so
a
many
mushroom, and
kinds.
I'm like, I don't want to eat that shit.
There's so many kinds. Do you eat mushrooms or no? You probably don't. You're like a fucking really big dork about all the textures and shit.
The mushrooms like they'll give you with like a steak and shit will be pretty good, but I'm not about to go out and eat like
Get this off my plate.
like pizza mushrooms.
I literally, I brought over like vegetables to Dakota's house to eat, and he's like, "Ah! Get off my plate!" No, he won't even eat it. He won't even
when you
eat
order
it.
that like blue carrot shit, and
Yeah.
it comes with like the
Purple
healthy,
carrot.
It's like comes from
That's
all
my lunch
over
today.
It's just like it's too much healthy shit for me.
Yeah, fun though, interesting, nerdy, kind of Planet Earth where it's like soothing British guy telling you all
that's
about
cool.
shit.
Something you can have up while
It's
you're
fun.
doing your own gaming and whatever.
Yeah, it's also an easy thing to watch
Side
while you're
watch.
doing other things, which is I really like. Okay, so next we'll do. You have one more, right? So I'll do
more. I have two more.
You have two more. Okay, so
Come back to me.
Okay, go.
All right, my next one is again another kind of documentary, but finally stepping away from Netflix, and we go to the 30 for 30.
Oh,
Ric
nice.
Flair.
Yeah,
I actually
dude.
kind of want to watch this trailer with the audio because I want people who didn't get to experience Ric Flair hear a bit of who he was, if you wouldn't mind, Kevin. Let's like check out a bit of the audio.
Yeah, did you grow up with Ric Flair?
Oh yeah,
I was a big.
I was a
wrestling guy.
huge wrestling guy when
Yeah.
I grew up.
And for me, it was like Bret the Hitman Hart, and those guys were all Steve. Who's the guy with the fucking little curly Q?
A curly Q.
You know, he's like slick back hair, and he's got a little curl right here.
Shawn?
It's not Shawn Michaels, no.
Shawn
I mean, Shawn Michaels was the same era.
Yeah.
I want to say it was. Oh, I can't remember his fucking name.
But you know.
But yeah, I mean,
Undertaker's-
young Undertaker.
Even as old school as like Andre. I have like a WWF magazine at home that has Andre the Giant on it, and I was
Yeah.
a Hulkamaniac myself. Like,
You were,
love
I mean,
that shit.
Kane and the Undertaker, and why can't I remember his name? Were my favorite, but like when you had like the Heartbreak Hotel, and you had like all these amazing everything.
we
is still,
good?
we're good.
Let's
Okay.
check out this trailer real quick. People, there's like now kids don't really get into the golden era of wrestling.
Because it is the best thing going today.
He is the idol of a lot of big name athletes. A lot of their swag came from watching Ric Flair do
Jim
promos.
Ross?
You're talking to
He's
the
not Bill Bixby.
Rolex. Yeah. Wear it, yeah. Diamond ring, wear it. Kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine right. Woo, now give me two claps and a Ric Flair.
He was like a Pied Piper to defiant young athletes. Being that cool, crazy, say what you want, do what you want, live this lifestyle. And believe me, he was living the lifestyle.
As a kid growing up watching Ric Flair, he was very inspirational to myself and a lot of other hip-hop artists because he represented what we wanted to be. We wanted to be Ric Flair. We wanted to be flamboyant and, you know, the Kiss Dylan, Willing and Dylan. We wanted to be all of that. He was a part of our culture and our life. That's why we love him and we cherish him, and we've always held him high in the black community because Rick is one of us.
Yeah, it's somebody filming.
Back then, especially in the early 80s, it was a new thing to be telling how much money you had. You would brag about how many women you had. I mean, you were really groundbreaking doing that, right?
Yes, no.
Where did that come from?
The night before.
If I said it on TV, I did it. I lived my gimmick.
I'm going to ease across the street to the high Regency and drinks all the champagne, anything you want is on the world check.
With the women and drinking and partying.
So the 30 for 30 Nature Boy, and you know, I don't want to check the whole camcorder trailer that we're watching it right now, but you know, if you didn't grow up in like the golden era of what was WWF, now WWE wrestling, like that, the hype men, the showmanship, you know, it was a big show. It's a theatrical experience that you get super stoked about.
Yeah.
And you know, today we have our PPDs and all that. They're trying to be like that. They're trying to draw in the
Bring a
audience,
little bit,
like,
yeah.
bring a bit of that showmanship, and I think that's so valuable.
In
so
esports,
valuable
dude, in esports we need so much more of it.
Oh yeah,
some
for
of the
sure.
games have it. Dota is lacking.
Stories, rivalries, reasons to get hype. Now you look at Ric Flair, and it's such an extreme. This is a guy who obviously like ladies and money and life. But it's like, that's cool. That's Ric Flair. That's Ric Flair when he's on the job, right? But what about Ric Flair when he's not on the job, when he's not wrestling? But you learn fast in this documentary that's Ric Flair. Like what you see is what you get. This is a guy who's been through, I think, like 2 families. He has kids, and it's just like, sorry, I love wrestling. I'm Ric Flair. Yeah. Wrestling is life.
Isn't like half his kids hate him, half his kids love. His daughter is a wrestler now.
His daughter is a wrestler now.
She's a real deal too.
She got like the full bring in from Ric Flair himself.
Yeah.
And when you hear the stuff this man has done, it is stories of him dropping trowel on the airplane with fellow wrestlers before they head off to a match, the drugs, the alcohol he has done every day, and he lives. I mean, how many of those wrestlers are dead now, Dan?
He almost died.
All of my favorites.
He almost died last year.
Yeah, and the dude is somehow.
There was a big. It didn't his. So the production of this was actually supposed to be finished before he had the hospital troubles, and that all happened, and they reopened shooting, I believe, and kept going. But he almost died.
It's crazy, man.
I want to watch this. I got a friend who's a humongous. What else, man? He's a lighting director. And I worked with him for years and years. His nickname is the Laser Shark.
Nice.
Greg is super talented guy and obsessed with wrestling. When we would program events, he would just be on one monitor. He would have wrestling going all day, every day for any show we were doing. And his dream is to do WWE. And he recently met Ric Flair. And now, and it's like his idol, and he was sending me pictures all day, and it's like the greatest thing ever for him. But there are people out there that all they want to do is be this man and be near this man. Yeah. And guys today, our age, who are super talented and blown up, see him as the pinnacle idol of entertainment.
He's great, and I know that times come, and he'll be gone. Wrestling, I don't know what's gonna eventually happen with that. Everybody has their own opinion on wrestling. I know still a lot of people love it. I've personally fallen out of it. I don't feel like wrestling is like the same as it was when I was a kid, of course.
It's different.
But I hope that the spirit that Ric Flair brings to wrestling is something we will continue to see with athletes in their sports moving forward, whether it's esports, whether it's real sports. I think a showmanship is very important. I don't want to be watching robots play games good. I want more. I want a reason to really love this. I want a reason to want to buy that player's shirt,
something
jersey,
to cheer for,
something
right?
to cheer for, man. I don't want to just be like, that's a good sport, and they're really good. I want to get excited, about maybe a particular player and the history they bring and how they interact with their teammate or their opponent or the rival. I'm going to get excited that next week Ric Flair has to face The Undertaker or PPD has to face Kyle Friedman, and it's going to be like super hype.
Yeah.
So
PPD Kyle, that's a good one.
So it's it's cool, and I think it's a great experience. Definitely recommend. ESPN 30 for 30.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You're convicting me on these.
It's
I've been
my
out of
favorite 30 for 30.
documentaries right now. My 30 for 30 right now is the 2 Pablos or the 2 Escobars or whatever it is. The soccer one.
Yeah.
With Pablo Escobar. That one's fucking awesome.
Okay.
That's my favorite one right now. But looks like there might be a better one. I heard this is amazing.
Check it out.
Okay, I have 2 left as well.
Go for it.
I will do 1922 first. 1922 is a Stephen King novella that is part of the multi-deal purchase by Netflix, starting with Gerald's Game, which is very good as well. I actually like Gerald's Game more than 1922. You can watch that on Netflix. 1922 is a story of a farmer in the year 1922.
Okay.
And what happens to him and his family when his wife decides she wants to leave and move to the city. And the big city in this is Omaha. Omaha, Nebraska is the big city.
Wow.
So I can't give away too much.
They have kids and everything? Or
They have one kid.
Okay.
They have one kid, and they live on this beautiful farm. And she wants to leave, and all he cares about in the world is his land and his work. And that's it. He doesn't, or his house. So all he wants is to have the land and the house.
Huh.
So I don't want to give away too much. It's like, if you're into Stephen King, I don't think this is super Stephen King. I think it has, you know what I mean? I think it has elements of it, but it's a different kind of King story where it's just kind of, I can't say too much. But is it worth watching? I think if you want something that is a little kind of little horror-ish.
Little what?
Horror-ish.
Oh, okay.
Like a horror light movie.
Okay.
That's pretty well done. And I can't remember this guy's name, but he's got a pretty good performance.
A horror movie, and it's just like a guy who loves his farm.
But horror light.
Horror light.
And Stephen King light.
Okay.
If you're into King, you should watch it. I'm happy that they're doing these. Gerald's Game, though, if you haven't watched it, you should watch Gerald's Game over this for sure. This was my least favorite thing I watched, but was still pretty good. And it was always very straightforward and even keeled. There's not really any twists and turns. It is a very natural set of conclusions. And there's a rat element.
Rats.
There's a big rat element. I don't want to say anything.
That's funny that was your weakest, because the rats one was probably my weakest. So
this is my weakest for sure. So I would say, if you're fiending for some Stephen King and some interesting horror, watch Gerald's Game. Skip 1922. If you watch Gerald's Game and you're looking for more, watch 1922. You're not going to be blown away, but it's not disappointing. It's just kind of whatever. Okay. Your last one, then my last one, then we're going to get the fuck on it.
All right, my last one. On the note of Ric Flair, someone who loves what they do so much that that's really all they focus on. You know who else is like that?
Who?
My man Goku.
My
man Goku
no.
of Dragon Ball.
I forgot.
Loves the fighting and everything like that. Okay, so what kind of road are we going down
Fucking
here?
weeb shit.
Now,
I'm out.
Gamers out there, Dragon Ball Z Fighters is coming out in like 10 days' time, right? Super hype game. A lot of people have a lot of hype around it. I'm pretty hype about it. I play it. So I figured I need to know more about the lore of the game a bit. And I don't care. You know, I watched Dragon Ball Z a lot when I was younger. You know, I watched it on Toonami or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to watch it maybe before I even went to school. And I thought it was pretty hype, you know? And I love the old just basic Dragon Ball Z shit. I didn't really get into like what was before it. I didn't read all the mangas. I didn't get into GT too much or whatever. I just like that Dragon Ball Z little golden area I had of watching that show. I didn't proceed to watch a bunch of anime after that. I occasionally will tune into something that I think is pretty cool. One Punch Man here. Hero Academia.
Wait, yeah,
there.
what do you mean? You watch more anime than me, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I know there's people out there who are really enthusiastic about this, and I don't think I'm on their level. But I got to say, this was very tough at first to watch. So everyone, like, the only reason I got into this, Dan, was because, like, we'd done Smash Summit, which has a lot of very big anime fans, and I also had been hearing that this show's hype. Super's hype. Oh, that episode of Super was hype. I'm hearing it from Justin Wong. I heard it from Mewtwo King at Smash Summit and stuff like that. He's like, are you guys doing Dragon Ball Super? And I'm like, no. He's like, oh, so hype. I'm like, really?
So hype.
So I heard a lot that it was hype. So I dive into it. I start watching on Crunchyroll, which they should sponsor this show. But I went there.
Oh, you have Crunchyroll?
It's free if you just go watch the low standard
Oh, okay, cool.
with ads or whatever. So I was just tuning in, watching it. Let me tell you people right now, skip over the first 45 episodes.
45 episodes? How long are the episodes?
I mean, if you factor in the breaks and everything, it's probably like 15 minutes, 20 minutes each.
You watched 45 episodes and you're telling me you should skip the first 45?
Now, this is not the first time I tried to watch Dragon Ball Z Super. The first time I tried to watch it, I only got like 10 episodes in, and I was like, this isn't doing it for me, and I pieced out. So then I started hearing it was hype, and I'm like, maybe it gets hype later. So I try to go back to where I was before, and I'm watching, and I'm struggling still, and I'm really trying to fight through it. Some of the stories are pretty weak, and from what I heard, it's like the old movies stitched together with some stuff to kind of get them up to this point in the storyline. Like if they're Dan, I know this is going to go over your head for you, Dan, and some of this is going to go over your head for a lot of people, but for you few Dragon Ball Z people who are out there, you know, you'll relate to this. Like they're able to achieve this new success. You know, they go Super Saiyan and then they get Super Saiyan 2 and 3 and they become Super Saiyan Blue, Dan, and you know, but on some stories, they're skipping over all this, so they have to fill in. And, oh, in this movie, he was able to achieve Super Saiyan Blue God, so we got to put it in here so that way when we move forward, he already knows how to do it or some shit. So it's so funny that when you skip through those movies and those filler episodes, Dan, it was like episode 46. In first 3 minutes, I'm like, okay, hold on. I went right to my Discord. I'm like, so clearly they changed, right? The writers changed, the animator changed, something changed because then the show just got really good all of a sudden.
Like what's good? Like what
dark
what do you mean?
hero characters? Because all before it was all lovey-dovey, like, oh, the evil slime monster! It took over Vegeta, and Goku and Vegeta have to fight. Oh, and I'm like, okay, cool. Goku and Vegeta get to fight. I'm pretty hyped. The fight is shit, and I'm like, worthless.
You'll never destroy my world.
And I was like ready to just get the fuck out right away, but I tuned in for the next episode, and they go into a new story arc or a new saga. What I guess is where Super is supposed to begin.
So the whole 45 episodes is just basically like a
cursor,
like
it's
amendum,
like filling in all the stuff.
What is it? What is it in the beginning of a fucking book? Oh,
epilogue or whatever?
No, that's at the end. Hi, Kevin,
Overture?
smart guy. What's in the beginning of a book? When they like set the scene a little bit.
Prologue?
No,
Prelogue?
wait, prologue?
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 Epilogue's at the end.
Epilogue's
Prologue's
at
the beginning.
Okay, yeah. So the first 45 episodes is a prologue, stitching together a bunch of different works by a bunch of different people to just give you context.
I don't think it's different works. It's just like
you said it was movies like broken up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know again entirely like how it is, but it is very different. There's clearly was something different. Like
so then you get to Super and
then
it's
you get
dope?
to real Super and it's like they're in the past and they're all dying. There's death. There's an evil Goku right at the beginning.
So is it worth it?
You're treated to a Goku versus Goku match within like the first 2 episodes. Like you're like, oh shit, like they're getting off. The fighting animations look a lot better. The themes are darker. And then they also insert some awesome nostalgic throwbacks to the original Dragon Ball Z. Like these moments, like they'll pull out some sort of device that they used back then, and then they'll show like a fun clip of when they used it back then. So you're kind of like, you know, I'm there watching like, I remember that shit.
Okay.
So it's a fun little throwback like that. Now, unfortunately, I haven't gone too far into what is actually, I just finally got there last night. I made it through all of the dog shit. That was the first 45, 46 episodes.
So is it worth it? Are you satisfied? Is the payoff enough that you should say, watch the first 45s because the flavor tastes so good once you get to that episode 46? Or is it just like, fuck that, start at 46, who cares what happened before?
Yeah, I'm sure Dragon Ball enthusiasts and anime enthusiasts have already watched all those first 45 episodes and they already made it through, your way through it. If you are a off and on anime watcher like me. Off and on, but you did watch Dragon Ball Z and you liked it, and then you kind of were like iffy about everything else Dragon Ball since then, and you've been hesitant to come back to it, I would say, come on back. Start at episode 47. You'll know. It goes right to the future with Trunks. You'll know. Start there, and then go forward. And I think you'll be pretty surprised.
Cool.
Now, from what I've heard, the stuff I've already seen is pretty hype. Apparently, it gets a lot better. Like they said, oh, that saga is not even the best. It gets a lot better after that. So apparently, I have a lot to look forward to. And I'm excited about it. For everyone else out there who doesn't care and is calling me a weeb and shit, you know, whatever, man.
Whatever, you fucking dorks. Whatever makes you happy makes you happy.
Now,
shut up!
Now, I do feel terrible saying, like, I'm watching this right now, like, occasionally, and not watching, like, Stranger Things at all.
Oh, whatever,
like
dude.
that.
Stranger
But,
Things is overrated.
You know, this is, like, my late-night movie watch when I have The Office to myself, and I just want to, like, binge a bit.
You keep it on a side monitor?
Yeah, keep it on a side
do other
monitor.
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm not gonna watch it, but I'm happy that you like it, and
Fair enough.
I think some people will. I don't. I just. I
like
mean,
I said, the game's
I like
coming
anime.
out.
Just Dragon Ball Z is
there's
never
like characters in the
connected with
game
me.
I don't really know, so I'm like, I gotta quickly watch this shit. I want to know.
You're so
I wanna
obsessed.
know
You
the
gotta
stories.
know everything. Whenever you do something, you can't just do it. You have to understand all of it. You're like, it's impossible for you to just like if you were to play a game of basketball, you'd probably have to watch every Bulls championship so you got the relevance of the three-peat. You know, like it's like you gotta know it all. Okay, yeah, I'm happy you like it. It's Dragon Ball Z has never.
Hey, we
been
had
for
no
me.
animated anything here. So
I mean, I love
I'm just
anime,
trying to mix it up a bit.
and I
I'll throw
love
one
animated
animation
movies,
piece.
and I'm not hating. I'm not hating. I'm just not gonna watch it. Last thing is
thing
also
from
the
me.
most recent release from Netflix. They did a New Year's release, a special of Black Mirror season 4.
Oh yeah, Black Mirror came out. Now I'd watched a bit of Black Mirror before that. Man, this show is fucking crazy, Dan.
Yeah.
This thing makes you really nervous about the future. Every episode, I'm kind of like, this could be a thing. This could happen. I don't want that to happen. What if it did? And I've actually, because of those feelings, have been a bit hesitant to jump right into season
Dude,
4.
I
I'm
am the
sorry.
same way about Black Mirror. I watched the first season and was just like, oh my God, this show is fucking crazy. And it's so twisted and weird, and you can't even explain how or why it exists. And every season after that, it's really hard for me to watch because I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to go in that path because it's just like, it's so dark and twisted, and you're like, it makes you feel really uncomfortable at everything you're doing. And it's like, hey, new technology, awful things happening all because of this thing, you know? And like, it's such a mirror to society now.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like, are they doing a service, like, possibly forewarning everyone, like, this is where we could end up?
I mean, it's like if sometimes you turn on the news nowadays and it feels like an episode of Black Mirror, and sometimes Black Mirror feels like it already was something that happened, and that's why
Yeah,
the
it's
show
like
is
old
so
news.
crazy, is because it just feels very possible, even though it's very outlandish. I would say this season is my least favorite out of all the seasons. Has some great episodes.
Okay.
Has some really interesting new things. I found it to be gorier than the other seasons.
Now, this is
Maybe
a show
I'm
you
wrong.
could just jump into
It's all
one episode and be done, or
and
this episode and be done. So do you have,
watch
like,
in any order you
okay.
want.
Yeah. Is there any episodes that like you
that
remember
I really
off the top of
like?
your head that you're
yeah.
like, watch that one?
Yeah, Black Museum, the USS. I can't remember what the hell it's called.
I
USS
remember,
whatever. Like
I
a
think
star. It's like
Damien
the Star
saying that was
Trek
a good one,
Yeah, it's
too.
the first episode. So it's the first episode and the last episode. Also, I enjoyed. If I'm gonna like I'm trying to like think of what my third would be in that scenario.
This is how many? 10 episodes?
No, there's only 8.
Oh, okay.
Or some, maybe even less. It might be 6. There's
Oh.
not a lot. Fuck. I'm trying to remember what. There's Crocodile is not very good. Archangel is like a medium. I'm trying to remember what my other favorite one was. Whatever. If you like Black Mirror, you're gonna like
It's
this.
a little
This is-
disappointing to
that
hear
one
that it
Black
might
Mirror's
be the
better.
weakest season they've
But that's
been able to
also
put
kind of
out.
unfair to me. Oh, this one. I can't remember what it was called, but the dating one. There's a dating app one that is my third favorite.
Whoa.
And it's that's the Star Trek one, like USS whatever.
That looks like that's like they're put into a fantasy world and they love Star Trek or some shit like that.
I don't want to say anything.
No, it's
good.
If you said the episode's good, I'll probably check that one out.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch 3, watch the USS whatever, which I can't remember the name, so I'm sorry. The
USS Callister and Hang the DJ is the dating one.
USS Callister and Hang the DJ?
Yeah, USS Callister, Hang the DJ, Black Museum.
Black Museum.
Those 3 are my favorite of this season. Definitely worth watching. I mean, the other ones are totally valuable and valid as well. I just found them to be less than. But that's okay. You can be less than, and that's fine.
I mean, Black Mirror's first 2 seasons I felt were super strong.
I think, honestly, the only one that I'm like, that shouldn't be an episode is Crocodile, because Crocodile is just a crazy woman who is like constantly shitting and then cleaning up her shit, but smearing the shit all over the place and then shitting again.
You can't be. Now I want to watch it.
I mean, not actually, but
okay.
I'm trying to.
she literally shitting everywhere and rubbing it all over everything?
No, I'm just trying to, without telling you what actually she's doing.
Okay.
Kind of give you what's happening.
All right, fair enough.
But if you've never seen Black Mirror, fucking go watch it. Archangel's a good episode too. Archangel's my number 4. But
if Black Mirror hits a lot of dark tones and really original crazy ideas,
make you feel bad about yourself.
We should continue to support these kind of projects and watch them and just be like, hey,
It's
this is a crazy
This was
post-apocalyptic
originally.
world.
It's funny that Black Mirror is so associated with Netflix. It was not originally a Netflix series. It was a BBC series.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it got brought to Netflix later. And now it's so associated with Netflix. But the first season, I remember the first episode I saw, and I just didn't even know what to think.
I was
And
watching it
just couldn't even-
on some of my flights. I think going to like China. I'm sure.
Oh,
some
really?
shit. So I was like watching and saw like the first episode, of course.
the
and
pig.
There was one episode in Old Black Mirror I had to skip. The only one episode I had to skip.
Which
it
was that?
Something about like the lady who had lost her husband, and then there was a way to still be able to communicate. That's fucked.
That's
up.
probably one of the best
That's-
episodes ever. It's
No. I heard the best episode was the holiday episode. I have yet to watch it, but there's like a holiday 2-hour
Dude,
special.
I might have
Black
not.
Mirror.
I don't think I watched that one.
I heard that one was.
There's like it's like
fantastic.
season 3. I have not finished, so that might be that.
I think it's like one of those.
And it's because it's that feeling of being super hesitant. Like, do I really want to enter this space right now for my mind and my body?
I
Like,
don't wanna,
so much of the world is fucking dark and fucked up right now that often when I go to watch movies or something, I want to escape to something that's a little bit,
That's true. Yeah,
a little bit more fun. Have a good time. Magic of mushrooms.
That's a great
you know?
way of putting it. I want to go learn about fucking mushrooms
Okay.
and rats.
Hour 45. I think we should wrap.
That was a great movie buff. I had a good time talking about all of our binges. It
Yeah,
was
holiday
fun.
binge, guys. I don't know.
Let us know what you binged on, because I
binged
know
on?
that there's a lot that the people watching or listening right now probably have
Why didn't you watch
recommendations.
this?
But guess what? I think we possibly have a way, an easier way for any movie buff fans out there to be able to communicate with us.
Yeah.
On the fly.
You want to talk about movies? You want to tell us why our opinions are fucking terrible? You want to tell us what you want to see on the next movie buffed? Guys, we have a Discord now. Check it out. Kevin's going to post the link in here as well as in chat. Our social should be posting that as well. Join the Discord. Talk to us. We have just started it, so we're figuring it out.
There's
But
like 5 of us dudes in there.
Yeah, there's
just
5 dudes hanging out.
talking about the latest movies. If you're a guy who went to see Star Wars alone and you're really craving of venting,
Yeah.
this is the place to go. We'll have special setup channels where you can spoil away. We're gonna try our best to be on people who are spoiling anything else and get them out of there. But
trying to separate everything. It started because it was literally like Star Wars, and all I wanted to do was talk about it. And I didn't have a place to talk about it, and so we started this, and just a couple of us have been dicking around in there over break. But it's a great place to fiend and vent, and
because we're probably not going to be able to talk about every movie, every hype movie that's coming out,
Yeah.
or maybe there's a hype movie coming out that we don't know about, and you really need to make your case for why we need to talk about it. That's the place to do it now. And so
super
check it out.
excited.
Check out the new Discord. The link's gonna be hitting up on our social. If you're not already on our social for whatever reason at all, check out BTS Pods, BTS PODS, and that's where you can get all the updates as far as when we're going live with not just Movie Buff, but with Hot Cocks as well. And we do have a Hot Cocks actually coming up on Tuesday.
Nice.
We'll be doing a Hot Cocks show priority, and we'll be talking about Captain's Draft, which is currently going on right now. So after this is over, if you're tuning in live, head over to the Moonduck guys if you're a big Dota fan and check out the Captain's Draft minor happening. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to talk about. I'll be here with Ken, and are you going to be joining us?
I might be. We'll see.
I
I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided yet.
And we'll be breaking that down. Should be a good time. The podcasts are going to keep flowing. Also, if you haven't already heard, we've recently hired Slime.
Oh boy, Slime.
From the Smash Brothers community. He's joining our ranks as a creative producer as well, and we plan on having him here on Movie Buffed occasionally.
We've
So,
had him on the Teen Wolf episode, which was super fun.
Yeah.
He is on the same level as us, 100%.
yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to have him on some of these, to hear about what he binges about, to hear what he thinks about anime and all that shit. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So things are getting exciting. I think he might even be coming in with his own products, maybe new podcasts. So 2018 is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, guys, let's go. You're the dog. You're the dog.
Year of
Good
the
puppers.
dog.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks so much.
Lots of love. Take care. Have a good one.